The story of Crazy Joe was torn from yesterday's headlines, and it's as terrifying as tomorrow's.
Good morning. Welcome back to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. I'm Crazy Joe. Today we're going to talk about a movie that opened this weekend. Very interesting movie. It's called The Substance. It stars Demi Moore in what a lot of people are calling the performance of her career. And it also stars Dennis Quaid and Margaret Qualley, or is it Qualley? I've seen her in a couple movies, but I don't think I've actually heard her name spoken aloud. So I don't know if it's pronounced Qualley or Qualley. I should look up and see if she did any interviews on the Tonight Show or something and hear how they pronounce her name. I don't know. She's, interestingly enough, the daughter of Andie MacDowell, actress Andie MacDowell. First thing I saw her in was Drive Away Dolls, which was not a great movie. I think I enjoyed it more than most people. Most critics seem to really hate it. I thought it was okay. Not something I want to watch a second time, but that's not the topic. The topic is The Substance. The Substance is this new weird sci-fi horror film, and it's about, I don't want to give spoilers here, so don't worry. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm just going to kind of give you the gist of the movie, because the trailers don't really lead you to know what you're getting into. Like, if you watch these trailers, they're just vague enough that you really have no idea what this is about. I'm going to try to give you a sense of the story without giving you spoilers. So Demi Moore plays an aging, I guess she's an actress, though we only ever see her doing an exercise show. But they do mention she won an Oscar. But she's sort of an exercise guru, I guess, like a Richard Simmons, or maybe it's supposed to be a parallel to Jane Fonda. You know, Jane Fonda did all those workout videos in the 80s. And obviously she was an actress before she did workout videos. But Demi Moore's character, Elizabeth Sparkles, has a weekly exercise show, very popular exercise show that seems to be doing well. She seems to be extremely famous. Her show's been on the air for years. And one day she overhears the producer of her show, played by Dennis Quaid, saying that she has to go. She's too old. She's over 50. They need the next young, hot thing in there. And this kind of shatters Elizabeth's world. She starts panicking because she knows she's getting tossed out in favor of someone younger. And through a series of events, she gets an ad handed to her on a thumb drive for something called The Substance. And what The Substance does is it allows you to create your better self. The bottom line here is Liz ends up creating a separate person, a younger person. This younger person is her better self. But the caveat is they have to switch places every 7 days. They tell them, you are one. You are not two people. You are one. And you must flip every 7 days. This leads to the complications of the story, because whereas the younger version of herself is very, very in demand, people want her. She's getting all these jobs. When it's the 7 days to be Demi Moore, she's unhappy. She feels old. She feels unwanted. It is a wild movie. I don't want to say any more than this. Like, as far as the plot goes, I don't want to tell you anything else, because anything else, we're going to venture into spoilers, and I don't want to spoil this movie for you. It's a really interesting movie, and I don't want to deprive you of any of the weird twists or turns this movie takes. So you've got the basic of the premise. That's your premise, and that's all you need to know. Other than that, go in blind. I will say, this is a gory film. A lot of gore. Over the top cartoonish gore. Like, this isn't realistic gore. This isn't the kind of gore you're going to sit there and feel like you're watching a surgeon has someone on a table and pulling their guts out. This is more like a Evil Dead 2 or Dead Alive, like over the top cartoonish gore. That's the kind of gore you're getting here. It starts to venture into Frank Henenlotter territory in the last half hour. If you've ever seen like Basket Case, you'll kind of get an idea what I mean. It gets weird, it gets wild, it gets goofy, it gets gory in the last half hour. I need to tell you that up front because some people, like my wife, have a very low tolerance for gore. And I don't want you to go into this movie not knowing that's there and walk out like I was sick. How could you? I couldn't watch this movie. How could you not tell me? So just so you know, if you can't tolerate that level of gore, not the movie for you. But the movie is a think piece. It's not a dumb horror film that's just going for the gore gratuitously. It's a movie that really makes you think about how our culture values youth, how older people are treated, uh, what it means to live two separate lives. There's a lot going on in this film, and it's a movie that really, I think you're going to be thinking about it start to finish. And a lot of people are saying that they think Demi Moore is going to get an Oscar for her performance in this. I wouldn't be surprised. She's very good in it. Everybody's very good in this movie. I really enjoyed this film. Now, my friend Little Movie Perp, go over check his channel out, Little Movie Perp on YouTube. He called this like one of the best films he saw a year. I have to disagree because he and we talked about it yesterday. There's one thing in the movie that we had a fundamental misreading on. He took it to mean one thing, I took it to mean another thing. And the way I took it kind of created a block from me enjoying the film to the level he did. Because I was like, well, if A is true, then why would B happen? And this doesn't make sense. That's the way I took it. He took it in a completely different way. And once he explained his read of it to me, it was much more interesting, leading me to think, I need to see this film a second time. And that's the kind of film it is. It's the kind of film you'll be thinking about after you watch the movie. And you'll want to see it again just to kind of piece out your theories. Like, well, did this happen or did this happen? Did I misread this? It's that kind of movie. This is a smart movie. I'm going to recommend the Substance. It's not for everyone. Like I said, if you have a low tolerance for gore, this is not a film for you. While the film is classified as a horror film, it's really more of a sci-fi film. It's not like jump scares and people getting murdered. It's more of a psychological type of horror and an idea of there's this new technology. So it's more sci-fi. It's like there's this new technology that could create a major change in how you live your life. How is this technology going to affect you? How is it going to affect how you choose to live? It's more of that kind of movie. And look, I like this movie. I'm going to say check it out. If you could tolerate the gore, go for it. You're really going to enjoy this and support something new. People don't support new things enough. We talk about that all the time. This film is from a French filmmaker. It is her first American film. She made one film in France. Her name is Coralie Fargit. Fargit. May have mispronounced her name. Coralie Fargit is her name. And very well directed. She directed one episode of the Netflix series The Sandman called The Collectors. So other than this film, one episode of Sandman, that's her only English language film resume. And for a film to introduce yourself to Americans, this is a heck of a film. I think she has a big career ahead of her. I look forward to seeing what she does next. I am going to give you a personal warning. I talk about the gore. I have a tolerance for gore. Gore doesn't really bother me. It depends. If it's realistic gore, if it looks like somebody's really brutally getting murdered, that might affect me. But this level of cartoonish gore that's over the top and ridiculous, I can handle that. However, there is something in this film that I found so disgusting, I couldn't even finish my popcorn. And I'm going to warn you right now, within the first 15 minutes of the movie, if you see Dennis Quaid sitting down at a restaurant with a plate of shrimp in front of him, close your eyes. Close your eyes if you see Dennis Quaid with a plate of shrimp in front of him, because close-ups of Dennis Quaid eating shrimp is one of the most stomach-turning things I've seen in a movie in possibly my whole life. This shot of Dennis Quaid just shoving shrimp in his mouth and chewing it with his mouth open, really stomach-churning stuff. I mean, it's gross. So that's my one tip to you. If Dennis Quaid shows up eating shrimp, close your eyes, or else you're not going to be able to finish your popcorn. Really gross. Otherwise, really good movie. Check it out. The Substance in theaters now. Everybody's good in this. This is a solid film. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the back door flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no,
it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander pajamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
I know we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.